Good morning, family. July is National Mental Health Awareness Month and is observed in July to bring awareness to the unique struggles that the Black and Brown communities experience regarding mental wellness and mental health services. Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, social well-being, and it affects how we think, how we feel, how we act, and it helps to determine how we handle stress and how we relate to others and how we make choices. Racial and ethnic minorities suffer from poor mental health outcomes due to multiple factors, including stigma and not having access or ready access to services. Our faith, along with traditional services and treatments, can be a powerful thing. Faith can help us make sense of our suffering, our challenges, and our faith can give us strength to persevere through hardships and help us to connect with a community that cares. Over the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks during the month of July, we will be providing video clips that will tell a story about people in the faith community who have experienced these challenges, but also other professionals who are going to tell their stories of why they've done this. Our hope is that we get beyond the stigma and that we provide services and resources and opportunities to bring our faith along with traditional and professional services in the community that help us champion and overcome our struggles. God bless.
My name is Anuti Ngangana. I work for Percy's House, Inc. I am a program supervisor for the Boys Residential Treatment Facility. One of the main reasons that I do this, I understand the importance of representation. I'm not from here, from the States. I was actually born in Monrovia, Liberia, earlier on in the 80s, well, 88, and we moved over here because of Civil War. And one of the things I noticed when we came over to the States is growing up as a boy, I try to hang out with kids that look like me. So the Black kids from America, and I found out earlier on that it was difficult to make friends because I didn't fit in. I didn't fit in, although I looked like them. I was made fun of because I was African. Then I tried to hang out with some of the white kids, and I got made fun of because I wasn't from this place. And earlier on in the 90s, it was difficult to make friends. And then I try to hang out with the African kids that are already in the States, but I wasn't African enough. So a lot of the time, I felt like I was on my own, even though I had siblings, I had my mom and dad. But coming from Civil War, oftentimes, there was a lot of trauma there. There's a lot of family members who had died off, and there was a lot of grieving. There's a lot of depression around me. There was a lot of trauma, and it was hard to communicate or talk about those things because at times I was told, to be strong, and a way to be strong is to keep it all in and not to share your emotions and how you feel. So I held on to that, and overall, it made me angry and I was confused. So it wasn't until that I got a little older in life and I realized what I wanted to do in life was to listen, because a lot of the times I felt like I wasn't listened to. I didn't have a voice. It was taken away from me. So when I found mental health and I started seeking out, counseling for myself, I saw a lot of the benefits there. And I saw a lot of the benefits from people who look like me, which I didn't know it was even possible. I didn't even know there are people in the mental health field that look like me. Growing up in school, you learn about these historians, you learn about these scholars, and you're flipping these pages, and it's hard to find someone that looks like you. So when I started seeking out counseling and I found this whole world of this counseling association, full of brown and Black people that looked like me, it inspired me to do more, not just for myself, but to live for others and to show them that, that this is possible, that you do have a voice. So that's why I continue to do the work that I do now, because I wanted someone in my life at the time to be there for me. So I present myself and not a representation of all of brown and Black, but just a representation of an individual, a human being that can be there for someone that looks like you, that looks like me. And I think that's one of the most important things. Faith, oh man, faith is huge in my family. I can hear my mom right now singing songs of faith. Every Sunday, actually, my mother does a Bible study for my son and his cousins and siblings. And for me, I am very much so faith-based because it's more so very holistic. It's about people being there for one another. you know, where at times you feel like you can't and you don't have anyone. You know, religion was always something that was close to my heart, you know, because you had a community of people who were struggling, going through depression, going through their own hardships. But within that community, within our faith, within that church, we're always there for one another, you know, whether it being the songs that we were singing or making light of a situation, because sometimes you have to laugh at your pain, you know, and sometimes you have to seek out individuals who are inspired by the Word of God, you know, to push you on, you know, having someone that's you can see in a greater lens that can support you, and people all believing in that person and that individual or that being, it helped out a lot. It kept us together. You know, it kept us together in a community where you felt like you were all on the island. We were there for each other on that same island together, and that was my faith. You know, whether it being my mother being Methodist or my father being Baptist and Lutheran, we all believed in the same thing, that we wanted to be there for each other. You know, and we found that, you know, that bond through the Word. And that's another reason why I do this.